So, let's get on to it, man. This is probably gonna be one of my favorite presentations for real because purpose, man, this is like one of the most important aspects of life, right? So, before we get into all the information, just by a show of hands, how many of y'all know what y'all's purpose is? Nobody? Oh, shit.
I think it's something you kind of. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I think.
Yeah.
It's
What's
just,
your purpose? You know what I'm saying? What's
I
your
don't even. That's the thing. It's something you think you know, in certain points of time when you get a feel for something, but it's also something that I don't know. You just feel like you're not supposed to know that what you're doing is your purpose. Like you're just doing it.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
how I be feeling sometimes. But
When do you feel like you know what it is?
When?
Yeah.
When I was told what it was. But I'm gonna get into that though. But you know what I'm saying? But yeah. Do you know your purpose? No?
To me personally, I feel like that's what I'm on the path now. I feel like this is helping me find that. I feel like I'm on the path to figuring that out.
That's good.
To finding who I am and also my purpose.
Good.
I tried to tell myself what it was, not to cut you off, but
Yeah.
I tried to tell myself like, okay, maybe my purpose is helping other people, and I tried to string that along with what I've done in the past, what I've been good at. Like when I got out of high school, I thought my major was going to be sports med, because I played sports in high school. So I was like, let me do sports med. And I thought, okay, that's not going to work. Let me try social work, human services. That was cool too. And then I was like, well, it seemed like I'm cool with helping people. So along the line, I was like, maybe my purpose is just to help others. Like,
Got you. And you were saying you agree with
I'm
Mike.
kind of like the same thing with Armani,
Got you.
Most definitely helping you. I don't think that you will know until you know, but at the same time, it's like first, like demands people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Perfect way to be like, all right, we figure it out.
Got you. So,
Because we can go back, not to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go back to the music.
mm,
You know, nigga, so.
yeah.
But
So, if I was to ask y'all, what are the purpose of the chairs in the room? What would you say? Sit. Easy. Straightforward. Simple. What's the purpose of the tables?
You to place things
the
on.
place
Facts, yeah, facts. You know what I'm saying? Facts.
He said to eat.
Yeah. The purpose of this building, obviously, it's a library. It's gonna house books, educate people, come in, use the computers, right? You see how y'all could just rattle that off quick, but when I ask y'all what's y'all's purpose, it's a little,
Crickets.
it's a little murky, right? How does that make y'all feel?
very curious.
Yeah.
It makes you think about it.
For me, disappointing.
Mm.
Because personally, I just turned 28 January 2nd, so like I feel like you asking that question, I feel like I should know that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you said that. Disappointed. That's a good answer for real. Purpose, man. It's a confusing topic, right? It's easy for us to look around and understand the purpose of the things around us. That's easy. Y'all chairs to sit, table, eat, sit something on. The library, go in, learn, educate. You rattle that off quick. Some of the signs of a purposeless man. He lacks drive, determination, confidence. He's not goal-driven or goal-oriented. He's closed or shut off from the world. Not invested in growth and development of himself or others. Depressed, anxious, reactive in nature. You're constantly just reacting to the world, not being proactive. Aggressive, angry, fearful. These are some of the qualities of a person who doesn't know their purpose. Would y'all say y'all probably have some of these qualities at times?
last word.
Every last one? Right. The mind, body, and soul work as one. The brain, and I'm using the brain as the mind, right, works in conjunction with the body's physical and emotional experiences to determine the purpose of things. Your ability to hear allows people to teach you what an object's purpose is. The ability to physically touch things, hear things, see, smell, taste, etc. All of your senses work together to give the brain or the mind information. As a kid, your mom told you, boy, sit your ass down in that chair before I whoop your mother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what your mom told you. You sat on the bus, you sat in a chair. In school, you sat in a chair. When you get in the car, you sit in a form of a chair or seat, whatever, however you want to phrase it. Your brain is constantly trying to seek out the purpose or the reason that things exist. So through its experience, whether that's someone teaching you or you just physically experiencing it through your touch, smell, whatever the case may be, your brain matches objects with the reason those objects exist. Some things people tell you, right? They tell you this is the purpose of the chair. That's what your mom was telling you when she told you sit your ass down, right? She didn't just say, oh, the purpose of the chair is to sit here, nah, but she told you what you need to do in order to utilize the chair properly. Mm-hmm. So you go through life over and over, experiencing these things, and eventually you tie purpose to the object. But no one ever teaches us what our purpose is. They don't sit us down, right? We go through life experiencing what our purpose is, but sometimes it's hard for us to really articulate that. Reason being, we neglect the soul. We look for these tangible or empirical reasons or explanations as to what our purpose is, trying to utilize the same methods that we apply to the chair or to the table or whatever the case may be. But the distinction between us and the chair, the table, the building is the soul. Unlike inanimate objects, we all have a soul. This is what separates us from all other creations. We have a conscience which distinguishes us from the animals and all other physical things. The soul is the door that allows us to connect with the one that created us. It allows us to understand our purpose, our origin, and our identity in totality. Without it, we'd only be able to process the world through empirical evidence or scientific evidence. That's a whole lot of words to just explain something so simple, right? The soul, your consciousness, is what makes you greater than everything else on earth. Animals, they only operate off of their intrinsic desires, things that they're born with. They don't give a lot of thought to things, right? The chairs, obviously, we know chairs don't have thoughts. They don't have emotions. They don't go through trauma. They don't go through all of these things, right? But the distinction that I'm trying to make here is if you connect your mind, body, and your soul together, that's when you'll truly find what it is that your purpose is, right? The distinction between goals and purpose. Simply put, most of us, what's going on, man? Most of us confuse the goals that we have in life for our purpose. You ask the average person, what's your purpose? They may say, oh, my purpose is to be the best parent I can be, to be the best athlete. But these are all things that could easily be snatched away from you. You know, I could work all my life to go to the NFL. I get to the NFL and I get a career-ending injury. What kind of state of mind does that leave a person in? When you thought this was your purpose all your life, you thought, oh, I'm gonna go to the league, I'm gonna be the top scorer, top running back, top quarterback, whatever the case may be, and then it's snatched away from you. You'd probably be depressed. You'd probably have high anxiety, right? You'd be disappointed in yourself. You ask the question, why me? Goals and purpose and how to navigate the two. Many of us, like I said, confuse our goals that we decide for ourselves with our purpose. The issue is purpose is determined well before any subject comes into existence. It's assigned by the creator of the subject. We choose and control our goals, which should be aligned with our purpose, right? Before these chairs were created, whoever designed them and created them had an idea, and they had a design in mind. and then they put it into practice. Same thing with the tables, same thing with this building. When I went to Columbus State, I took a few classes in architecture, so I understand the building process to an extent. You can't just come here and just put a building up. No, you have to have an idea. You got to sit down, come up with the blueprints, map it out, pull permits. It's all of these different things that you need to do. But nonetheless, this was once an idea that is now in existence. It was designed, it was fashioned, it was put together specifically in the way that it is, but the purpose of it was decided by the one who created it. There's nothing that exists that does not have a purpose. There's nothing that exists that at one point did not exist, and now it does. Everything has a starting point. Everything has a creator. Everything was designed, it was fashioned, it was created for a specific purpose. So, you look at the iPhone, everybody in this room probably has an iPhone or Android or whatever the case may be. The original iPhone designed by the great Steve Jobs and Apple, an idea in mind, right? Why?
I'm saying like everybody knows.
Purpose, again. I could take this iPhone, I'm recording, I could take my phone, put it on the ground, stand on it. It's not going to do me much justice because that's not what the phone was created for. It's what a car, bus, plane, whatever the case may be. That's the purpose of those things. I can use the phone to call an Uber, call a taxi, whatever the case may be. But I have to use the phone within its defined purpose by the one who created it. I can't just put my own purpose on an object. It has to be determined by the creator. Goals and purpose, continued depression and anxiety. There are two core issues that exist when you confuse your goals for your purpose. A goal can be controlled by external sources, forcing them to change. Like I said, you go to the league, career-ending injury. You didn't choose that for yourself, it just happened. Now what? Now it's time to pivot. Goals are short-term in comparison to purpose, and once goals are accomplished or removed, you no longer have anything to live for, right? This is why it's important not to confuse your goals that you have in life with your purpose, because goals are meant to be accomplished. Your purpose is meant to be accomplished, but your purpose is going to be a lifelong journey. Goals can be long-term, short-term, whatever the case may be. Or you can have a goal for yourself, like I said, and it could be snatched away. How to determine your purpose. These are 4 principles to keep in mind when it comes to thinking about purpose. Goals change, purpose stays the same. Why? Nobody in this room can really choose their purpose because you didn't choose to be here. You didn't choose to be born. You didn't choose to be created. You had no say in that. Connect with and understand who and what created you and the world around you. The one who creates the subject determines the subject's purpose. Purpose is never lost, but it is not guaranteed to be accomplished. Again, the purpose of all things is determined by the Creator. I'm going to keep saying that over and over because that's the point that we're getting to, right? We try to determine our purpose ourselves and establish purpose ourselves and choose our purpose ourselves. And a lot of times, it leaves us unfulfilled, right? That's one problem a lot of people have. And then the other problem is that a lot of people just don't know what their purpose is, period, right? You don't know, you try to think about it, but you can't figure it out, right? You go through life. And again, that's why I had the examples of a purposeless man to see how many of you all relate to that, because I know I definitely related to all of those things on the list at a point in time. What is your purpose? It's the age-old question, right? This is what everybody wants to know. 2 simple verses, right? I'm not going to go all ultra-religious on y'all. I'm not a pastor. I'm not an imam. I am a Muslim, so I got a verse from the Quran, but it may be some Christians or people who come from a Christian background, so I got a Bible verse for y'all too. And the Quran is very specific, right? I searched for days trying to find a verse in the Bible, right, that specifically said purpose or why human beings were created. This was the closest one that I found. In the Quran, it says, I have not created mankind for any other purpose but to worship me. God's words. In the Bible, everyone who is called by my name, who I created for my glory, whom I formed and I made. Isaiah 43. There's more to that verse, in the beginning and the end. I didn't want to overwhelm y'all with religious topics because that could be a little tricky for some people to navigate. But nonetheless, the point that I'm making is this. Anything else that you could think of in your life that could be your purpose could be snatched away from you. I don't care what it is, right? I'll be transparent with y'all. Last year, my girl was pregnant. We lost a baby. I thought I was going to be a great father, right? I dreamt a long time of being a dad, right? And we lost the baby, right? I could have said my purpose was to be the best father I could be. I'm going to be a great man, a great father, and it's snatched away, right? I don't have a say in that. She doesn't have a say. We don't have a say. We did everything we possibly could. We went to the appointments. We changed the diet up. Went to the gym, exercised a little bit, light exercise, nothing crazy. Didn't happen. Will it happen? We don't know. I can't say that's my purpose. I got a good friend of mine. His name was DC, from my same neighborhood. His mom probably would have said her purpose was to be the best parent. He died. How can that be your purpose if it could be snatched away from you? You have no choice. This, you have a choice in. You have a choice to worship the Creator. Nobody can take that away from you. It can't be snatched away, right? And G asked me, when did I find out what my purpose was? I said, when I was told. This was when I was told, when I read that verse. And at first, when I heard that verse, I was a little weary about that because it sounded like a little arrogant to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just created me to worship you. That's it, right? That was my thought process initially. But as I continued to think about it, and I thought about worshiping the Creator, and I thought about all the other things in my life that I thought were my purpose, it really started to make sense because, like I said, it's the only thing that can't be snatched away from you. Glory and worship of God is the only purpose that one can live by that cannot be taken away. It is the only purpose that one can have to serve something higher than self. A purpose that benefits the world, but it specifically targets you as an individual. God does not need your worship. He doesn't need anything. We all know that. He's the beginning, the ending, the Almighty. He's always there. He doesn't eat, doesn't sleep, doesn't need anything. He created all of this. But why? It's through the worship of God that we benefit, right? And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in the next slides when I talk about some of the acts of worship, but think about that. He created us, but he doesn't need anything. But he created us to worship him. So how does that benefit us in the long run? Well, you go through the tests, you go through the trials, you go through the good times, you go through the bad times. Do you continue to worship him in those times? Do you continue to believe? 12 examples of worship. These are all things that benefit us. He doesn't need this. He doesn't need you to profess your faith. He don't need that. He wants it. He doesn't need it. Prayer. See, you could pray for things and receive things, but God has everything. He doesn't need your prayer, right? Give in charity. Fast. Be kind to your family, your parents, your grandparents, siblings, children, spouse. Work hard and appreciate your opportunities even when you aren't motivated. Work out and take care of the body that he has lent you. I got another slide with the rest of the 12 examples, but I just want to talk about a couple of these real quick. Be kind to your family and your parents. When I didn't know my purpose, we talked about it before, aggressive, right? Arrogant, disappointed, depressed. I was all of those things. Your purpose is your guiding light. That's what's going to guide you through this world. That's how you know what it is you need to do, how it is you need to move, right? You know what it is I need to learn, what I need to study. But when I was depressed, man, I was the complete opposite of what you see today, man. I was rude, I was mean, I used to spaz over the smallest things. I would argue with my mom, argue with my dad, my grandparents, brother, friends, everything, right? But now I know through being a little more humble, right? Showing a little more humility, being kind to the people that are around you, the people God blessed you with, is one of the most important things. Because he could have put you in the world alone, but he didn't. I'm not going to say family is all we have, because it's not, obviously. We got brothers in this room, so I can't say family is all you have, but you only get one family, right? You're only born with one family. Blood-related bonds, you only have one. So think about that. Next time you interact with your mom, next time you interact with your grandparents, your brothers, sisters, whatever, think about that. Think about, okay, my purpose is to worship God, so in this moment, I'm gonna build a bond here. Instead of spazzing out on you when you do something that piss me off, it's all right. I'm gonna just go to my room. I'm gonna just leave. I'm gonna just, whatever the case may be. It's all good. It ain't even that serious, right? Next time you get some free time, invite your brother or your sister out with you to go out to eat or something, right? Hop on the game, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Do something to build that, to strengthen that bond and build that relationship, because this is an act of worship. Because this is how he says to live, right? Work hard and appreciate your opportunities even when you aren't motivated. Man, I hate going to work, bro. Like, I do. You know what I'm saying? I hate it sometimes, right? Not all the time, but sometimes I don't want to get up. I work the night shift, too, so I'm going 3 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning. Bro, sometimes I'm not motivated to go, bro. But I'm blessed. I'm grateful because I had the opportunity. Because it's some people, man, you pass a homeless person in Columbus every day. They might not have the opportunity to make the kind of money that we make, right? So even when I'm not motivated, I'm appreciative. And even when I'm not motivated, I go to work and I work hard, right? I done been in a situation where I was in between jobs before, so I know how it feels. But God blessed me and a lot of people, I can't say all, but a lot of people with the opportunity to get up and go to work every day. So that's active worship, right? Give your woman the highest honor of marriage. Bible, Quran, whatever the case may be. Marriage is the way to go. That's what it says, right? Why do I say give her the highest honor? There's a lot of benefits that come with marriage that your girl does not get if y'all are not married, right? We could talk about the tax benefits, we could talk about the money, whatever the case may be. But just that level of commitment to get down on one knee and say, I want to be with you for the rest of my life. That means something. We might not think it really means that much, especially if you've been with your girl for a long time, right? Because I used to think, man, that shit don't really mean nothing for her. You know what I'm saying? But it does. And it changes. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it firsthand. So I think I'm the only married one in the room, so y'all boys think about that. You know what I'm saying? Especially you. You know what I'm saying? Think about that one, bro. You know what I'm saying? Think about that one. Guide, teach, and train your children to be great and to live in their purpose. Because these are the things that most of us probably were not taught. Our parents didn't sit us down and say, this is what your purpose is. Here's what you need to do. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
You right.
I forgot, yeah.
Create things of your own so that you can be grateful you were created. This is where you get to reflect, right? Obviously, I think probably, well, most of y'all in the room have kids. Obviously, God is the creator, but you got a part in that when you have a child. So When you look into your kids' eyes today when you get home, reflect on that. Reflect on how he allowed them to come into the world and how he allowed you to come into the world. Invest in your community. It's not just financially, but teaching God. You might not have the money to give back right now, but you've been through something in your life where you could pass that lesson down to somebody, the good and the bad. And continuously develop yourself and your relationship with the Creator, because through that, you build that relationship, you strengthen the relationship, and you have a deeper understanding of what your purpose is. Questions or comments? Long story short, man, I'm thankful to be a Muslim because all of the guidance is simple and straightforward, right? The purpose, it tells you, this is why I created you. This is why. Nothing more, nothing less. And then it tells you how to worship him. That's why I listed. These are just 12 things. It's plenty of things, right? When you walk into the room, thank God. When you get in your car and you get home tonight, thank God. It's simple. Prayer doesn't have to be something where you get down on your knees, put your hands together, and thank you, God. And you don't got to do all that, right? It's great to do that, right? It should be times that you do that. I'm not saying neglect that, but prayer can also just be thanking him for simple things. Before you take a drink, thank you, God. Take a sip. Before you take a bite, thank you, God. When you put your shoes on, simple things. The more you do that, it becomes who you are. It becomes a part of your character and who you are as a man, who you are as a person. And you're going to carry that energy out in the world with you. So when you come in contact with your girl and she say something that might piss you off, then you're going to carry a little more grace, that forgiveness piece. How can you want someone to forgive you if you don't forgive? How can you not forgive when God forgives? Not forget. Now, I don't just give you a clean slate automatically, but seek his forgiveness. In a nutshell, man, because I want to leave enough time. Anybody got the time?
It's 3:01.
Okay, cool. In a nutshell, man, this is what I believe the purpose is, right? Now, y'all could go out in the world and say, forget what Khalid said and present it and try to figure it out on your own. But I'm going to tell you this now. I've thought long and hard about this. I've thought long and hard about all the things that could be my purpose. And when I think about it, I think to myself, is that something that could be snatched away from me at some point in time? And if it is, then it can't be your purpose. Because you're going to have a level of insecurity in your heart. Because you're not going to have firm foundation to stand on. Right? So yeah, that's my thoughts on purpose. Hopefully, that could be a benefit to some of y'all. So, yeah, man, that's it. Live in your purpose, center your goals around that. Everything else will come after. Join the Telegram group. I'll have this presentation in there probably later on today. So.
I recommend that Rick Warren book. Like, it's called Purpose Driven Life. Like it says, 40-day chapter book. Each day is a different chapter, point to ponder. But it's talk about that connection with worship and the Lord, everything. So, like I said, purpose to me is something that you enjoy. Like,